Jai Shri Krishna to all. Welcome to Path to Anandam Gita series. Freedom from pains and miseries to happy, healthy, and peaceful life. Based on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, my questions and God's answers, and 108 mantras to awaken your soul. And today's subject is how to be the best yogi. And pranam to Swami Hariharji Maharaj for his blessings, his guidance, and motivating us to be together in the morning. I know Sunday morning is not easy for many of us, but thank you, Swamiji, for coming in my life, in our life, and blessing us. I'm Satya Kalra, your host and founder of Path to Anandam, which guides how to be happy with the simple, easy, practical techniques and be anger-free, fear-free, worry-free, stress-free, and follow the righteousness in life. And whatever all these books, CDs you see, these are the blessing of Guruji. With his blessing, they become #1 bestseller on Amazon. And with his blessings and his guidance, the message has been delivered and being delivered in many organizations, universities, one-to-one basis, wherever God's blessings come from. So thank you very much, Guruji, again. And today's the series 47, based on Gita verse 46, 47. Although since these are the last verses of Bhagavad Gita's chapter 6, we will be covering many other or summarizing the whole chapter, in fact, the whole karma yoga up till now. Who is the best yogi? Here it says how to be yogi, not bhogi and rogi. So who is the best yogi? Who is yogi, bhogi, and rogi? And how to become the best yogi? And by doing it, what are the benefits are we going to receive? But we have to learn how to practice, and then we get some homework to do it. And then practicing our affirmation, our sankalpa is, I am the true yogi. I am the best yogi. And follow with meditation and question and answers. So starting with Arjuna's Vishad Yoga, where he's so disappointed, he's so confused, seeing the whole area of army in Kurukshetra with his family members, his near and dear ones. And he gets overwhelmed with his attachment, his ego, that I'm the one who's going to fight. And how am I going to fight with my near and dear ones? And his body gave up. He could not stand anymore. He went and sit back on his chariot, just sit, and said to Lord Krishna, Na jotaseti govindam. Why do I have to be engaged in this sinful war? I cannot perform this war. I cannot get engaged. So he prays to Lord Krishna for the guidance with humbleness and surrender. And let's all pray to Lord Krishna, because we are the Arjun of today's who are overwhelmed with many daily issues, challenges. So let's pray together. If you know this verse, if not, you can remember it. Even if you're not, just listen and pray together. Karpanye dosho pahat svabhava paschami tvam dharma sammood cheta yachase syani nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam. Arjuna said, my heart is overpowered by the weakness of pity. I have lost all my composure and my mind is confused about my duty, my dharma. What should I do? Or what should I not do? I'm requesting you to tell me what is definitely good for my welfare. What is definitely good, not what I'm asking for. I am your disciple. I surrender to you. Please instruct me. So Arjuna's issue, the Vishad, fear of death of his near and dear ones, losing family members, killing near and dear ones, attachment, worry, I-ness, ego, minus, all he was overpowered with his pity, his Vishad. However, he was self-aware that he cannot engage himself in the war again. And though he said, Na jote sati govindam, I will not fight the battle of war, this bloody war, but he was self-aware. And he asked Lord Krishna's advice. He honestly analyzed it, that he cannot feel comfortable getting engaged in this war. But when he asked for advice from Lord Krishna, he listened to it. He followed the advice. And then his Vishad turned into Prasad, where he says, Karshe vachanam tav, I will do as you advise. So through the blissful journey of Bhagavad Gita, he came to that wisdom that he must follow his dharma, convert his karma into dharma. So let's all go together on this blissful journey where we can also remove our ignorance, purify ourselves, transform ourselves, uplift ourselves, our consciousness, and experience who am I, Sat Chit Ananda. And that is the purpose of our life. So when Arjuna got confused, Lord Krishna tried to guide him, advise him, give him the wisdom that he's not the body, he's the soul. So he should not worry about his body and his relatives. Arjuna could not understand. This is the first time he heard this body and soul concept. So Lord Krishna explained him based on his understanding, his potential to understand, his constitution of his mind. And he explained him based on the karma yoga, Because he was Kshatriya, he would understand only action. So he started with him with only karma. So very first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is just the description of Kurukshetra, but the foundation of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which explains the status of Arjuna's mind, the problem of his mind. So unless we understand the problem in our life, we cannot reach to the solution either. We cannot ask for the resources or look for the resources to solve our problems. So very first chapter is very, very important. And then in chapter 2, he gives a whole summary of Bhagavad Gita. And then Arjuna is more confused now. Because in the chapter 2, and he says, you and I are one. And he says, how could we be one? You are sitting here, I'm sitting here. You have a different body, I am different body. How could we be same? And then Lord Krishna explains him the karma yoga. Because that's the language Arjun could understand. So he takes all this ignorance like an onion. When we peel the onion, we take the one layer of the onion until we reach to the essence of the onion, which is the sweet part of it. But until then, each layer is giving us the tears. And so is our life, our ignorance of each part of our different days. From morning to evening, we are bombarded with many ignorance, questions, and confusions. And sometimes we have tears in our eyes. So Lord Krishna takes one layer out of this like onion, and he takes him to the essence of life. And he takes him that he must do his action. But then Lord Arjuna still does not understand. He says, I am doing action and I cannot do this action. Then this is the karma yoga, is chapter 3. But then the next chapter, chapter 4 comes, Gyan Karma Sannyas Yoga. He tells him that he gives him the wisdom, how should he perform his action. Karmanye vadika raste ma phaleshu kadachan, ma karma phal hetu bhurmate sangoasta karmani. Do your action with love and compassion, with wisdom for the benefit of all, without expecting any fruits. And believe it or not, this is the most controversial and the most known verse in Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Krishna carries on to the chapter 5, which is Karma Sannyas Yoga. So he teaches him how to renounce, do your action, but renounce your I-ness, that I am the doer. Because you are not the doer. The divine Shakti, which is making you to do the work, which is performing through your body, is the one which is doing the action. Arjuna still continues, bombards Lord Krishna with the question and answer. And then Lord Krishna says, unless you focus on your work, your mind is scattered, you are confused. So you have to bring your mind, focus on mind through Dhyana Yoga. So that's chapter 6, which we are going to conclude today. But actually, the Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 parts. The first 6 chapters are called Karma Yoga. The next 6 chapters, 7 to 12, is called Bhakti Yoga, where God tells Lord Krishna, tells Arjuna, who is he, who is God. And then following chapter 13 to 18 tells him what is the relationship between us, between the body and the nature, and how body and nature is the one, the oneness. And through all these different yogas, karma yoga, dhyan yoga, bhakti yoga, gyan, Lord Krishna takes him ultimately makes him man to God. From Atma, connects him to the Atma, and ultimately he experiences the God's presence in his life. So this is just a summary of the Bhagavad Gita's graphic. And today's verse is chapter 646. And it says, tapasvyo bhai adhiko yogi, jnanibhyo api mato adhikaha, karmibhya cha adhikaha, yogi tasmat, yogi bhav Arjuna. Here it says, yogi bhav Arjuna, yogi bhav Arjuna. The yogi is superior to the ascetics, tapasvīs. The yogi is considered greater than the Vedic scholars. Only which is herein is a Vedic scholar means the only with bookish knowledge. And a yogi is certainly far above the ritual, the action ones. Therefore, O Arjuna, be a yogi. So he tells him there are different types of yogis. He talks about the karmic yogi who perform the Vedic rituals for attaining the material abundance, like do the yagnas, special yagnas. Here you can see special yagnas are done, special practices are done. And mostly the focus is, I need this, God give me this. I want this, this is my need. So basically asking for materialistic world. And may have a celestial Devi Devtas. You know, we do the lot of rituals for the Devi Devtas. Ganesh ji ki puja karo for this, Mata ki puja karo for this. All these are, if the puja is done, karmic is done to uplift ourselves, then there is nothing wrong with that. But usually it mainly focus on gaining the worldly abundance. And then who is jñānī? Who is engaged in the activities to cultivate the knowledge, may not have a goal to attain the wisdom, who am I, or the God realization, or the self-realization. And there are many examples. Here you can see all these bhaktas are sitting in front of Shankaracharya looking for the knowledge. And there are many organizations, even good examples. Swarupanandaji was giving that when because he's from Vedanta society, and he says there are many monks who come with this goal that they want to learn Vedanta, and then their goal is to go and teach in universities, teach in the different places, and get a better positions for teachings and spread the message of Vedanta, but they still do not have a goal to realize God or the purpose of life, because their goal is only to teach Vedanta. And then there are tapasvīs, ascetics, or they usually have the tapasvic lifestyle, where they have the sense controls. They do not want to have any materialistic wealth. They are not looking for, but they are looking for siddhis and maybe God realization, but focus is a siddhis. Good example, Arjuna. He did a lot of tapasya to Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, for getting the Brahmas, some special instruments, shastras, special shastra to fight the war for this Kurukshetra war. So he was preparing himself, and he did that. Here we have the other example, Ravana. He did so much Shivji's puja. He's the biggest, known as the biggest devotee of Lord Krishna. He had 10 heads, and he used to put one head to offer to Lord Shiva. So he did the tapasya to gain to fulfill his ego and name and fame. But then yogi has only one purpose. And that purpose is to experience God realization, self-realization, where God realization requires the equanimity. And they perform his karma and obligations with the highest state of excellence, with love and compassion, with calm mind, where it's a benefit for all. They don't have their own personal agenda there. And actually that is known as karma yoga. But prior to karma yoga, the calmness, the equanimity, the sthit pragya is very important. And here says that with love and compassion, so bhakti yoga. But again, it is duality. God is different than me. So God is in the external world, we are two. Lord Krishna is here, I am here. So there again is the duality here. But then the self-realization, realizing our own Atma, that I am a fraction of Paramatma. And that comes a Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, where we go through meditation, yogas, pranayams, as a Ashtanga Yoga. So yama, niyama, asanas, pranayam, pratyaharas, dhyan, samadhi. So all these until one experience the ultimate union with God. And that's what the yogi means. Yogi means who is yogi? Who practice the yoga, who is united with supreme power. That is truly a yogi. So that is the non-duality, where total oneness with supreme being. I am one with God. So here it shows karmī. Jñānī is better than karmī. But tapasvī is even higher than jñānī. But yogi is the highest, because yogi has only one goal: to experience, realize God, and also or realize self. And here is the 8 figures of Ashtanga Yoga. And that's why Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Yogi bhav Arjuna. And here Arjuna became the yogi by experience, by going through his own nature, own prakriti, own svabhava as a Kshatriya. So he did the karma. He got engaged in the war, and that's where he said, Karishye vachanam tav. So then the question comes, what is the relationship of this very well-known phrase, which is in Shastras and which is everywhere, yogi, bhogi, rogi? So again, from different angle, yogi is a person who leads a sattvic life, sadhu's life. Sadhu does not mean who just wear the orange clothes. Sadhu means who is a simple by nature, who is only selfless, and who is only seeker of truth, self-realization, but he has a self-control on his senses, like a turtle. Yada sairate chayam kurmo agniv sarvasha indriyani indriyarthabhyasya pragya pratishta, whose buddhi is totally under control. And then who is a bhogi? Bhogi is basically the rajasic nature, seeker of pleasure. He could be karmī. He's a karmī too, but he's a seeker of pleasure. He's very greedy. He looks only for the worldly gains. Womanizer, because it's a bhogi, is also known as the womanizer. Name and fame. So all the worldly possessions, rajasic nature overtakes. So that's his bhogi. But the one who is bhogi, could turn into, and he actually turns into rogi, because tamasic, because he's so stressed out. His body is overtaken with all the negativity, all the cortisol hormones, which results into diseases. So disease means what? Dis-ease. And then he's very dissatisfied. He's very selfish. And for that reason, he could be dishonest and very unhappy and unpeaceful. So rogi does not mean who is lying down on the bed where you can see it right here. Okay, it's not, but here is mainly talking about who is physically, body, mind is filled with emotions and diseases. And here you can see the picture of the passionate person, the bhogi person. And here is the yogi. So again, rogi. But the one thing is sure, each does not exclude the others. In other words, tamasic are not tamasic all the way. They have some fragment in themselves, goodness, the part of soul. They experience it, but they ignore it because it's overtaken by their ignorance. So although we may desire to be a yogi, it usually happens very gradually, slowly by slowly by slowly, shanai shanai uppar mein. So there are some yogis who are still bhogis and rogis who will someday become yogis. So their desire, tapasvīs, even though they do the tapasya, they do the all kind of activities, but in deep heart, they are the seeker of truth. So they are going through the transition from bhogis, from rogis to bhogis, and then turning into yogis. For example, many, if you go to prison, you will notice, or you heard about it, or we all hear about it, that in prison, some of the people really want to get out and they really want to do the good things in the world, because now they're transforming, they are experiencing that whatever they did it through the ignorance part of it. And now they want to do good for the world. So our mind is now transforming by realizing, by thinking about the sattvic nature, being selfless. And finally, those people unite by going beyond their limitations of all the worldly nature. And they become like Lord Krishna tells Arjuna. First time he told him, Nistre guna bhav Arjuna. Arjuna, go beyond your limitations, because he was so overpowered with his body and mental emotions and body issues, and he could not stand. So he guides him, he tells him, go beyond your limitations. And then now he's telling him, yogi bhav. So now he's giving him a little bit more guidance. So what are the hallmarks of the best yogi? Here it says, yogino appi sarvesha manglentaratmana shraddhavan bhaite yo mamsa ye yuktamo mata. Of all the yogis, those whose mind are always absorbed in me. See, you can see their mind is always absorbed in the supreme power. They are mindfulness, but they're not, where it says mindfulness of what? Because many times in different type of meditations, where it says the meditation, what does meditation do? The benefits of meditation. It, of course, it calms the person's mind, reduces the stress, builds the immune system. All kind of physical and emotional benefits are there. And one start going within. However, when we focus only on the supreme power, and that's what Lord Krishna is saying, absorb in me, don't have the different goals through meditation, because he's talking about this dhyan yoga, So don't have the different goals for the worldly things or physical body or emotion getting, because once you focus on me, you will get those things automatically. So don't focus on the worldly things and small things. Focus on me. And once you focus on me, with love and devotion, with faith, that's the person is considered to be the highest, the best of all. That person is the Mahayogi, the true yogi. So how to become a yogi? Focus on God, not on the worldly things. And there is a beautiful story which I have shared it before, and I would like to share it again, that one king announced that tomorrow, whoever comes to my kingdom and asks for anything, I will fulfill their desires and their wish. So next morning, the whole kingdom was going to the palace, and king was sitting there, and people asked for all kinds of desires from the homes, from the business, from the vehicles, from the farms, all kinds of worldly desires. And then one lady was standing there, and king noticed that she did not ask anything. And he said, don't you want to ask anything? And she says, no, because I'm not sure whether you will be able to give it to me or not. And he says, but it's my commitment. I will do that. And she says, no, you won't be able to do that. He says, why don't you just tell me? She says, you are promising me in front of everybody, so you must obey your promise. So he says, but tell me what it is. And she says, I want you. And king could not refuse, so she became the queen. And she was the part of the whole kingdom. So this is what Lord Krishna says, if you ask for me, I will give you all those things, little things, your physical, your emotions, all will be taken care of it. Like Arjuna, his emotions were all taken care of it. And here he is ready to embark to perform his duty. And he says, Karishe Vachanam Tav, because he become the karma yogi. So his path was karma yogi. Some people have a karma yogi, bhakti yoga, jnānī yoga, but all these need to be practiced. Without love and compassion, we cannot do our action. With jnān, knowledge, we cannot do our action. And that's why the combination of karma, bhakti, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, and jnānī yoga all are together. And that's where Lord Krishna is saying, focus on me and be a yogi. So what are the benefits of becoming a yogi? So Lord Krishna says, whose mind and intellect, and actually he has already given these benefits previously in chapter 5 as well. That whoever puts his mind, intellect completely merges with me, who is fully devoted to me, and who has full faith in him, has God realization and self-realization as the supreme goal of life, then gradually, all the impurities and the sins are destroyed by self-knowledge, and he becomes pure in heart, and he reaches to the highest supreme consciousness state where there is no return. He reaches to Param Dham. So the key here is, by doing this, the benefit is we purify ourselves, we transform ourselves, and we experience ultimate happiness, peace, and who we are. I am Satchit Ananda. And also Lord Krishna says in this verse, in the next verse, that you will also experience me in every aspect, but what you need to do it you need to continuously practice, practice, practice. Mindfulness of God. Kan kan mein, chan chan mein. So, daily planner, where this is not just for God realization, self-realization, but it also gives us the smooth ride in daily life. And along that, of course, we experience the presence of God in our life. So we start our day with the mantras or reading Bhagavad Gita or whatever message appeals to us, and then do our yoga, pranayam, meditation, and then take one thing at a time and practice. And this was when I looked at this was a kind of a give me a laugh. So I thought I should share this with you during the day practice. It says the nutritional management, because many of us, including myself, I have this issue. So it says one who eats one time is yogi, 2 times is bhogi, 3 times is rogi, and 4 times could be a lot more than that. So I think I belong to all these 3 categories. Sometimes I eat 3 times, sometimes I eat 2 times, sometimes I eat 1 time. So I belong, and we all do the fasting and all that. So we kind of, this is, to me, this was something interesting. And in the evening, again, we experience and self-evaluate where we are, meditate for 5 and 10 minutes, do the self-inquiry and pray to God. And then surrender to God. Sarva dharman paritaje mamekam sharanam braj. And then God promises us that I will take care of all of your miseries. Just come to me. So our homework time. Question. Be aware and ask yourself self-inquiry. So dhyaya abhyasnam. Be aware and ask the question, what is my personality? Am I yogi? Am I the seeker? Am I bhogi? Am I the seeker of pleasures? Or am I rogi, ignorant, and hurting myself and others? So self-inquiry is the only path for self-improvement and reach a higher self. So sankalpa. So there are many sankalpas we have taken during very first sankalpa, new of me, on January 2nd, 2022. And now we are at the sankalpa 47. So here is, I discipline my life. I meditate my sankalpa. What is my sankalpa? I live in divine Shakti. I see God in all, and I am the best yogi. This is the sankalpas. So these are all the sankalpas. By learning Bhagavad Gita, we'll take the sankalpa, one sankalpa at a time. So today's sankalpa is I am the best yogi. So put that seed in mind, and then gradually, this will become true, and the fruits we will reap the fruits, but we have to have a patience. It's not a quick fix. So we must have a sankalp prabhavan. Sankalp has a very powerful, but it says, kamanas tattva, not for the worldly desires, not be karmī, not be tapasvī, not be jñānī, just all that we will hear, it becomes all, and then little by little, we become the fruit, we become the yogi. So shanai uppar med, buddhya buddhi grehita, atma sanstam mana kratvana kanchit api chintayet. Don't worry about it. Just focus on your work, and like a turtle, you will continue to move on, and experience healthy, happy, and peaceful life. And who am I? So thank you very much for attending the session. I am the best yogi, not the bhogi, not the rogi. And by being that, I will be free from pains and miseries. And this is how I will go from the island of freedom, free from pain and miseries, to happy and healthy and peaceful